Hi tribes, it's me, Donna Bliss Vlogs, and I'm here for another chit chat vlog, which is so special for me because today I decided to have a self-love kind of day. A lot of my vlogs, whenever I decide that I'm not gonna vlog today, this is when my download is so fast and so strong that I can't say no. To the gym, and then after the gym I'm gonna go home and sleep. Yeah, that's my self-love moment. And guess what happened when I was at the gym? Guys, I have been going to the gym for almost a year now, and every time I go to the gym, the background music is always a gym music, like, you know, bam 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 bam, something like that, something to inspire you to build up those muscles. Today was a special day because they did hard rock. It didn't really made me question it or whatever. I went to Facebook and saw my cousin celebrating some moments there in Dubai with my family, my other family. And it just so happened that that time I was looking at that picture of my cousin, that music I used to sing at a club just played. So it's like, oh my gosh, I'm looking at my nephew, right? And then at the same time reliving the moments we had, you know, the happy moments. I heard the background music which we used to sing. And guys, as what I've said to you, I have been in the gym for almost a year and there was no hard rock, there was no music, there's no rock music. Just there, that time when I was looking at my nephew who I played with in a band, exactly the same song I used to sing. And guys, this is synchronicity. When you say synchronicity, this is what it means. And it is different from coincidence. Coincidence is just a random moment, like it just happened once and there's no really very significant reason for happening. But with synchronicity, it's different because it has value to you. You have goosebumps, major goosebumps, and it's like your logic cannot believe it's happening, but it is. I'm sharing this because nowadays, guys, it's not woo-woo anymore. It's not, you know, too spiritual or too superstitious. It's not, because the Nobel Prize was given to a physicist about quantum entanglement, and I'm not gonna be very specific about it. It's about the synchronicity. It's like there's an event that always happens with meaning, so it can be explained by science now. If you don't believe me, or I'm not trying to convince you to believe me, I am just here to share my experience about the synchronicities that happened to me and how it changed my life. Number one, we used to live in a very lovely apartment. It was last year that we transferred here in this house, but we lived there for almost 4 years, guys. I feel like we are meant to be in that house because that's where my channel was born. When we were looking for a house to transfer to, I saw this ad, right, in social media that there's the house there. The backyard was all reserve park, which means, you know, that's our dream house. Lots of grass and everything. You just have to open the backyard gate and bam, it's like full on, you can run around everywhere you like. But there was a one picture that made me tell my husband, we are going in this house. My husband originally wanted the second apartment that we were choosing. It has the fanciest facility, especially the kitchen. Oh my god, I remember that kitchen. It looks as if it was a luxurious kitchen, so that's why my husband wanted that house. I said, no, we're going in this house, the one with the koala, because the owner said that that house is always visited by a koala. And guys, I am obsessed with koala. I collected stuffed toy when I was a kid, and I used to have like a koala bear, and that's the reason why we had that house. But now that I'm talking to you about synchronicities, we were supposed to get that house because why? The pandemic happened, and guess what? We have wildlife everywhere, and koalas, parrots, wild turkeys, wild ducks. And that time when everybody was panicking about there's no food everywhere, there's no tissue and everything, me and my family was like, well, okay, if we run out of food in the groceries, we can just take the duck or the turkey. It's just there, it's for free. It's so funny. Anyhow, my bottom line is we were supposed to be in that house because that was when my channel was born. I opened my channel just because I wanted to share how we live with nature, and that how it helps everybody's mental health, to be with nature, to be with animals. One of my inspiration was to be living with wildlife, and how we can conserve wildlife and nature, and how we should appreciate little things. And so the second synchronicity that happened in my life, which I don't know how it happened, it's very mysterious, but it gave me goosebumps, was when me and my ex-partner was having financial problem in Dubai, right? One of my ex-partner's friend, guys, he gave my ex-partner a 500 dirham bill, cash. And that was the time when we couldn't afford to buy groceries. And you know what the guy said to my ex-partner? He said, you know what, I just want to pay it forward, because when I used to be broke, somebody gave me, just random stranger just gave me cash for no reason. Said one day I will pass it forward. And guess what happened? My ex-partner that time told me he never said to his mate that we are having financial problems, and that was one of the most lowest point of my life in Dubai, where we couldn't afford like paying the rent. So it was such a big question mark. Why is it that suddenly this cash just appeared in front of us without even asking? Okay, this next synchronicity, it's a little bit religious, but because it involves my mom and my mom's mission at the moment with her life. And I feel like for the religious people who believes in something more than just coincidence, my family and my father-in-law, I think it was 3 to 4 years ago, went to this hot spring. It was my first time in the hot spring, guys, and it was so beautiful. I remembered that my husband saw a 14 karat gold necklace with a pendant that is Immaculate Conception. My first reaction was, oh my gosh, this was left here by someone who must have went to somewhere like very religious, like maybe in Italy. Oh my gosh, this is a very special necklace. Not because it is 14 karat gold. It was pretty rusty that time. And you know, guys, when I cleaned it, it was so beautiful. So this is the one I'm telling you about. There's a cross and the Immaculate Conception. That's a Virgin Mary. This is not yet the climax of my story, the peak of my story. Well, the next day we had to go home. We had to drive for a long time. So around 4 a.m. we decided to alarm, and we were running so late that morning. 4 a.m. the morning. We were planning to drive around 4:30, and it didn't happen, so we said, okay, we're just gonna drive around 5. Guys, it was a foggy morning, I remember that time. And after an hour of driving, the traffic, we just stopped because of the traffic, and we found out that there was a huge accident on the road. There was fuel leaking and everything, so they had to clean the road. Of course, they have to do investigation and stuff. Unfortunately, guys, there was people who died in that accident. There were 3 vehicles involved. The culprit was, I think, a fruit truck, and it hit, I think, 1 or 2 smaller cars. And there was a woman, a lady who lost her life because of that accident. I remembered being in that road for 3 to 4 hours of waiting. If there's a death in an accident, they really have to investigate very, very thoroughly. So that's what happened. When we were here in Gold Coast, we found out what happened, and I was thinking about this one. Somebody protected us from being in that accident. It was a few cars away from us, guys. And I was thinking, I don't care what anybody thinks. I think it was not an accident that my husband got this one. This was a protection. I don't care if you don't believe or not. This is what my mom and I believe. And she is serving actually at our local church in Coronadal, and her patron saint is Immaculate Conception. It gives me goosebumps when I am telling you this, and I think she's told all her friends because it is a sign that somebody is looking after us. So the next synchronicity that I'm going to share with you is about a person in my life where I don't know whether I'm gonna be with him or not. So I prayed. I said, God, universe, please give me a sign. Should I tell him about my feelings for him or not? Because he already told me how he felt for me, but I don't know if it's safe to be with him. And I said, okay, please give me a sign that I should tell him how I feel. The next day, I was watching TV, guys, and guess what happened? One of his favorite movie was there. And I said, okay, it's just a coincidence, right? Later that afternoon, I said to the universe and God, okay, God, should I tell him how I feel? Please give me a sign. Please make me see a dragonfly. Guys, after how many minutes, a dragonfly appeared. And I said, okay, it's just a coincidence, So I said, okay, fine, whatever. After how many days, I went to a friend's party. Guess what happened? There was an airplane in the sky, and for some reason, it actually made a heart, a big giant heart. And so I said, okay, universe or God, I will tell this person how I feel. That's it. The last part, what I'm going to tell you is, it's giving me big goosebumps because it's the biggest transition of my life. The last synchronicity that I'm going to tell you, it's making me a little bit emotional because this synchronicity involves a person in my life. He was one of my biggest teachers because I never knew how toxic I was until I met this guy. There was a time when trying to figure out what happened in the past. That's what I did with this person. He was the catalyst of my transformation. I think all men will cheat and stuff like that because all the men in my past did exactly the same. So I had no reason to believe that, some men aren't cheaters. Actually, he was the person who made me stop and look at myself. That I was so broken that I don't trust men in general, and that's why both of us didn't work out because first of all, we had a very bad foundation. Before I stepped inside his apartment, before we dated, I already said, I'm gonna break up with this guy because he will cheat. And I was wrong. I had to meet him in my 40s again. The universe had to prove to me that I was a toxic person. And the next guys, both of us had healing. We had to heal our relationship from the past. I told him, this is why our relationship didn't work. This is where you need to change too. Because sometimes, guys, the person in front of us that we're talking to or that we're encountering, they are the mirrors of who we are. It makes us think like, oh my God, you are like me. But then again, I see your flaws, which means that I have flaws, which means I have to change. And I would also like to say this on a positive note that, well, I like to think that I also changed his life by saying, you know, when we used to date, the reason why I had to let you go was because you ran away from your problems. Every time there's a chance for two people to talk, healthy communication, you always run away. This triggers me a lot. It makes me feel worthless. You will go through your life, you know, with anyone, any partner you will ever have, running away, not knowing where you've gone wrong. But I was the person who told him, this is what's wrong with your communication skills. This is what's wrong with how you project your pain to a partner. You're just recycling your dad's unhealthy relational patterns. This is why you'll never know these things if you don't research. I researched because I knew there was something wrong with me. I don't know about this avoidant attachment, this anxious attachment styles, because I am so tired of having failed relationships. So I had to learn my mistakes from the past. I am laughing at myself because I sound like a psychologist, even if I am not a qualified psychologist. Guys, when you binge watch about psychologists and healthy relationships, you will know how toxic you are, and you will know where you've gone wrong, and you know all these terminologies that never appeared in your reality. But if you are constantly finding out how to be a better person, how to be, you know, better in interpersonal relationship or relationships in general, you will know these things.
Life offers us a second or third chance to connect with familiar faces, same old problems, a do-over, and this time we're bringing insight, healing, and growth to the table.
The synchronicities that I found out all my life have helped me to level up, to be a better person, and to evolve. We have signs and synchronicities all around us. All we need to do is see the patterns and see what it's teaching us. If you see a lot of patterns, that means it's telling you something. You don't need to believe in synchronicities, in quantum physics, in science. Even if you don't believe in synchronicities, that it was just a coincidence, I'm just sharing my story because this is what I did. The patterns that I saw in front of me, I did something about it. These unusual patterns in your life that tells you about something, about signs, about things that you can't explain. But then again, if you find the gold nuggets, if you find what it's telling you, then it's gonna be good for you. So synchronicities actually help me to be a better human being.